On this episode, we are going to be reviewing the AirPod Maxes. I don't like these. I personally don't enjoy them, but they can be useful for other people. They have a, I don't know how to describe it. It's like a blanket because it's soft. You can change the colors on it. This comes off when you go to wash it. This is the reason why I don't like them, is they clank like that. I personally don't enjoy that. Apple could do better. I don't like this case. It makes it look too much like a purse when you're carrying them around. Because it looks like that, and your only controls are conversation awareness, noise cancellation, and transparency with one of these buttons, and that's volume and music with the other one. That's all you get. Yes, you can do this right here and swap all this out. Yes, Apple or Samsung only has one chip or one sensor, but Apple has one here and one here. Yes, you can wash all this and this once you take this off. How you do that right now, I have no idea. But yeah, it's all washable. It's all chemical free when you go to wash it. These only have the M1 chip because they are the Lightning version, along with the Type-C version. Does have the same chip as these and the same features. The AirPod Maxes only have a 22-hour battery life versus like my AirPod 4s have like 28 hours of playback audio. That's with and without noise cancellation. That's with the charging case. Without, it only gets like 6 hours of play audio, which is nice, I guess. If you're using them for 22 hours straight, then yeah, that's nice. But nobody ever uses their headphones for that long. They're heavier than the Sonys, the Sony wh1000s that I reviewed in the last episode. These are much, much lighter. These kind of have metal on them, while the other ones were all plastic and very light and cushiony. This is like very dead cushion, like a pillow. After you have it for a while, it becomes dead, which is what this feels like. These absorb sweat like really fast, like it's nobody's business. On the other hand, the Sonys had a leather ear cushion, which is nice, and they fold in, or they fold out like so, and they also go up, which these clearly do not do. These are just much, much heavier. Yes, they have more like customization to them, I guess, if you want to call it that. There's a green light when they're on and connected, versus Sony's does flash because it's Android. And these have a Find My feature with Apple's phones, which, okay, but who loses their AirPod Maxes like that? In my opinion, who really loses them like that to use it? So instead of putting like Find My feature in them, in my personal opinion, I don't like these. In my personal opinion, Apple needs to upgrade their Air Maxes if they're gonna be selling them for $500 to $600. That's just my personal opinion, but I don't like these. They're too heavy, they're not comfortable enough, and if you do decide to go on Apple's website or look up what chip they have, it's going to be the H1 chip, versus you can get the AirPod 4s or AirPod Pros with noise cancellation that have more features. They would have transparency, ambient, noise cancellation, and then it's off. While these only have transparency and noise cancellation. And conversation awareness, that's it. These have conversation awareness too, and it's nice. It's not as good as the Sony's. The noise cancellation on these is a little bit better than these or the Sony's. But then again, in my opinion, would you rather carry this around, or would you rather carry this around? Dang it. I'm sorry. That's that. Carry that around. Nobody would want to carry. Dang it. Nobody would want to carry this around. You would rather carry this around, I bet. Why? Because this looks more easier and more practical to carry around than this. Because they're heavier. It takes a while to get used to them over the ears. And this is the only way for them not to clank, is like this. But then they still and try to fold back out. While these do not do that, they come with this, and they come with all the instructions that you need with these. Versus these, Apple expects you to know how to set everything up. Which, I guess, they're expecting most people to know what they're doing, but I personally don't like that. I like having QR codes that lead to apps that say, here, download this, and you'll be able to have, like, more features. If Apple gave these a newer chip, like their AirPod Pros and 4s, if Apple gave the Air Maxes a newer chip like those, and gave them more features and a longer playback audio, I'd be like, sure. Now, with all their upgrades, it would be worth it. But they aren't. I would rather go out and spend $500 or $400 on these versus spending $500, $600, or even $700 on Air Maxes. That's just my personal opinion. But toots to their own. If you have, well, that's the end of today's episode. I'll show you how they go in, and then that will be the end. Just like so. Now, again, would you rather carry this around, like this, or carry this around with a clip that you can put on your backpack or in your purse or whatever, and carry that around, versus this? Now, that's the end for today's episode. If you liked what you've seen, please do subscribe, drop a like, and if you have something useful to say, or you want us to review more items or products, like cars, electronics, food, whatever, then drop that in the comments as well, please. That's it for today's episode, and have a good rest of your day.